For many of us, a car like this is probably just a dream. But have you ever thought about playing along in a kind of roleplay type of thing that recreates the real-life aspects of it in a game? You probably think of GTA right now with 5M and all the bits of pieces that have been going around there for a few years. But what about Forza Horizon? The game where you already have the perfect wheel support, the game where you can already do realistic kind of driving. Well, the Light Club is the kind of place to be at then, because we've been doing it for over 7 years at this point, and we have built an entire economy around everything you need to have a kind of realistic experience. So from picking up cars at dealerships, to running from the police, to getting a full app experience that we have developed, where you start from the bottom off and then build your way up, to even owning businesses or hosting events. You can basically do everything you would like. And in the next 10 minutes I will quickly explain you why you should be there as well. So, how does it work? Well, we have turned Forza Horizon into a life simulation. You're not a racer, you're a civilian. You're somebody that pays bills, goes to work. With this living wage that you're getting, you're buying new cars, you're buying new upgrades, possibly new houses. And maybe later down the line, you're able to open your own business and then really expand the way you're working. At its core, we have two things. We have the app that we have developed, which is basically your login into everything that goes on in this roleplay, because your payments, your cars, everything you do happens in this app. And the second thing is our Discord. This is where all of us are. This is where we are in the voice chat. This is where we talk, this is where we do announcements, we do our dealerships there. Everything is working through the Discord and the app. Do you have to talk? No, you don't. But you gotta be in the voice chat to listen to what we're saying, in case we're changing maps, in case the cops pull you over, because everybody else is using a microphone, and even though it's not a requirement, you still gotta hear us. You can type in the chats. So, what does a session actually look like? Honestly, it looks like a real place. We do proper car meets where people show up in their builds and just hang out. Realistic cruises where the whole convoy moves together, sticking to the speed limits, giving way to traffic. Races and events, cops and cruises. And the light run, our own Gumball style run across the map, which is always chaotic in the best way. But the thing that makes it click isn't any single event. It's that we roleplay everything around them. You get pulled over, you stop, hand your license out the window, talk your way through it. Someone buys their first proper house and a whole group rolls up to celebrate. A crash happens and it becomes a real scene. Police gets called, photos get taken, an accident report gets written, and the car goes off to a repair shop. Nobody's just driving in circles. People have jobs, histories, rivalries, friendships. You're not playing a game session, you're part of a world and it keeps going whether you're the main character that night or just cruising in the background. How do you make money in the roleplay? Well, when you first join and register in the app, you get to pick a job that you want to do. Let's say, for example, mechanic. Every player that joins and sits in a voice channel and actively participates in the session gets a living wage. So no matter if you're running a business or you're just driving around enjoying your time, you get paid. Everybody does that. And the more you play, the more money you're making, right? The wage that you're getting increases with the amount of time you've spent in the roleplay project. Apart from that, if you want to buy, for example, a car that you can't afford, we also have a banking system. You can take loans up to 10 times your wage, but you gotta make sure to pay them back in time, because when you don't, there's a 40% fee, an upcharge, for missing your payment. And I'm telling you, some people learned that the hard way. When you first enter the roleplay, you get to pick a starter car. We have curated a list of cars which are valued under 30,000, which you can pick from. Once you have enough money, you can obviously go out, buy something better, sell the old car and look for something new. Now, how do you do that? Well, we have two types of dealerships. We have the way of you buying the car straight through the app, Or if somebody owns a dealership, let's say a player has a dealership and has a certain brand, let's say BMW, right? Then you can no longer go through the app to buy the car. You have to go to this person that owns the dealership and order the car there. This person helps you spec the car and everything, and this is how you place the order. We also have CarWow, which some of you might recognize as the used car market, where other players can sell their cars back to the system and then get a certain percentage back for it. Or other people can just list their cars as, I have it, but if somebody wants it, I'll sell it for this price, right? And the third thing we have is the auction house. Similar to like eBay and the other things, you can put your car up and set the minimum price you want to have. People can bid on it, like other role players, and the car gets sold. Sometimes you will find some really interesting cars there though, especially when somebody ran from the cops, because that's when the cops will sell or auction off your car. Interesting.
Every car needs somewhere to live, and so do you. You start small, maybe a cheap apartment, and you work your way up. A bigger house means a bigger garage, which means more space for more cars. And watching someone go from a single space to a packed garage over a few months tells its own story. You earned every one of those. But a house isn't just storage. It's where you throw a meet and have people actually turn up. It's the milestone everyone celebrates when you finally close on the big one. And it's the one place on the entire map you're allowed to disappear when the police are chasing you. This is where it stops being a car game and starts being an economy. You can run a business, tire shops, oil shops, repair shops, tuning shops, where every upgrade in the game gets done. People build these into real operations, with regulars who keep coming back and reputations that actually mean something.
Then there's dealerships. As I mentioned previously, you can go to another player that owns a dealership to buy a new car. Now, how do you even open up such a thing? Well, first of all, you need to be trustworthy in the roleplay, which means you have to be experienced. You can't just roll in first day, open a dealership, that doesn't work. You need to be in the roleplay to understand everything, the workflows and everything, to be able to even open up one. The third thing is though, you need to have a lot of money saved, because the first tier already requires say 100,000 investment just to open up. And the higher tiers you go, the more expensive it gets. So you also can't just save a ton of money and then just buy your way into the top. That doesn't work. You need to be trustworthy, run those businesses for multiple weeks until you can even go to the next tier. And once you start becoming inactive, you get a warning. On the second warning, the shop closes. So dealerships require you to do a lot, but they also give a great output of money when you do it well enough. So there's rivalries, there's competitions, people that run events, they run entire fan bases based around the car manufacturer that they're selling, for example Ferrari. So there's many ways of making money, with dealerships being right at the top, but they also require you the most patience and work.
Police officers are real players, selected and trained, patrolling every session. Get caught speeding and you'll see the quick chat. Hear the siren and you've got a decision to make. Pull over, hand over your license, take the ticket, or run. Running is the whole system. Officers chase you, call out your position, try to wreck you, and off-duty officers join in waves. To escape, you have to break line of sight for 5 full minutes. No cutting across fields, no fast travel and no pausing. The only place you're allowed to stop is a property you own. If they catch you, they count it out loud. 3 seconds wrecked and standing still and it's over. Car impounded, auctioned off to other players, and a stack of tickets on your account. Real consequences are what makes these chases stick with people. Nobody forgets the one where they lost their car. If you're here to race, there's a place for that too. We run a racing league every week. Everyone gets the same car with the same tune, so it comes down to driving, nothing else. Circuits, sprints, tollgate runs, and a ladder system to keep the field balanced, and prizes each series.
If that sounded like something you would enjoy, then feel free to join. The link to the Discord is in the bio. You can also invite all your friends if you'd like. The next video will actually be an explanation video on how to register in the app and also with the connected Discord. But if you don't want to miss out on this type of content, make sure to follow, because I want to post episodes of how my own roleplay journey is coming along, so you can also get a sneak peek on how things would look like before you join yourself. See you in the next one.